And the national government and other private sector. I would save you time, because you see in the afternoon after lunch, mainly about challenges faced by MSMEs, especially the private sector. Our focus, we are defined by our operations in 47 counties. If there is any other county that there is chamber official, sign MOU with the Council of Governors in 2016, that is in June. Then this one was, we do otherwise. Now, currently we have over 50,000 direct MSMEs. Majorly as old as Kenya, but we are the Kenya first follower. Currently, we do 58 years, tried to build the database. We only rely on World Bank report, UNDP, IMF. But this data, ask yourself as the chief officer in charge of trade in your respective counties. Does it sit with you? Do you know where they are? To me, it's a driving force which we must really treat carefully. And I want to thank COG through ILO for really, when devolution was given birth to, we realized everybody was very happy. Around 4. Hey, this is very dangerous. Only 4. Among the 47, how many are running any business, whether it is a bookshop? They are not full-time, because I know you are a public officer. One of the largest, and most speakers have talked about it, and I don't want to labor so much, is the double taxation and licenses. And these ones you know, and you do local chairs, and you want to sell them in Kisumu or whichever, or across maybe to Eldoret, because Eldoret has several. To cross from Vihiga, welcome, yes. No, they had allowed me. I was only reaching out to you as being our chief guest. So, fortunately enough, and that is why I came with several business cards to share with you, especially the new chief officers. To start businesses is when they would know the pain points that businesses go through. Because down there we rely on milk from Murang'a. For you to reach the Mount Kenya milk.
The question of unemployment is a question that all of us sit together and jointly come up with interventions. So we have quite a number of interventions that we are discussing, but specifically for this forum is to look at MSME, because the only opportunity now we have to create massive jobs to our population is the MSME sector, because out of the workforce of 20 million, only 3.5 are engaged formally, are formally employed, meaning we have 16.5 million Kenyans who are outside there, who are informal, who are trying to do things on their own. So the responsibilities of the two levels of government right now is to see how do we make the self-employment opportunities become more secure, become more competitive for our population. At the national level, we have a number of catalytic funds which are supporting the MSMEs. From the government side, the new kid on the block, of course, is the Hustler Fund that we all know about, which has so far covered 22 million Kenyans. And we have been able to disperse, as of today, close to 41 billion. A few hours ago, I've checked, 41 billion Kenyan shillings to close to 22 million Kenyans. And why are we doing this? We are doing this so that we can give Kenyans that key to access more opportunities within the MSME ecosystem. And then the MSME ecosystem has both the private sector and also has got the government agencies. We have, for example, the Youth Enterprise Fund, which we also are engineering to offer financing to young people who are running enterprises. The SME loan is business purpose, business oriented, where, for example, you have a registered enterprise and you want to borrow to do your business. We are working on it, and this is targeting the small and the medium enterprises. So again, you can still be able to access that through digital. You don't have to wait for long after you have applied the way our MSMEs. All this journey is expected to help our MSME move from being informal to somehow formal, because if they are formal or we have like a basic KYC, they know your customer kind of data, we are able then to support them and see to it that we can build their capacity, we can do networking, we can look for market both domestically and even globally for them. So SME loan will be coming. But like I said, most counties are also implementing that. So we are trying to see how do we also break silos in MSME financing. Because if we can centralize the data of MSME, these 22 million Kenyans, we have reached out as a national government through the Hustler Fund. They're in each and every county. Every county has been served. I mean, they're everywhere. They're all Kenyans that they're serving. So again, towards the end of this retreat, we'll be seeing, and these are technical people, the chief officers and CECs and trade directors. We will come together and see how best can we make sure that we create more leveraging opportunities as opposed to acting in silos, so that to make financing intervention become more effective and more impactful to our MSMEs. This is the beginning point of those conversations, and and I'm sure from what I've experienced so far, people are upbeat. They're also accepting that there's that concern, because there is no elected leader who does not have an agenda of empowering people. So, and the criminalization of work, all it means is that it's our responsibility to make sure that every Kenya is economically engaged. You're doing something. Whichever work you're doing can put food on the table, even if not for prosperity, but at least you're putting food on the table. We must make sure that every Kenyan achieves that, because we cannot say we can offer an alternative where we'll be feeding people, because that cannot be sustainable, and it will just be a temporary measure. So we're having that conversation, and I want to believe by the end of this 3-day workshop, we will have teams now that will now critically start working on the framework, and we will then consult our leadership at the national level, His Excellency the President and the Council of Governors, and I'm sure what will be remaining is implementation that can begin immediately. Being in CRB, it's not that they they defaulted. You remember that was also around the same period that we are smarting from pandemic. The corona pandemic that sank so many MSMEs. So we felt we needed to play a rehabilitative role, try to see how we can give them a second chance to repair their credit, and then reintegrate them back to the economy, back to where they can now move to a private financial institution and be financed and continue with their works and contribution to economy. So the SME we're still discussing it, and we'll be rolling out soon, hopefully. Yeah.
The importance of the MSME cannot be underplayed, because we know that it contributes a big percentage to the GDP of the country, almost 30%, and it creates jobs informally. In fact, at times we wonder why it's called the informal sector when it employs so many people. If you compare it with the formal sector, which employs about 3 million, and it's employing almost 16.5, perhaps the definition should be considered to change so that it becomes a formal one and gets bigger support. The idea of partnering with the county is a great one for this regime, because we realize that national government cannot implement everything. It can only play the facilitation role, so that the implementers themselves, who are the counties, can be, and near the people, can be able to scale up. Because the more people we bring to the mainstream of MSME and financial inclusion, the more we create jobs. Government role is basically to set standards and to ensure that its people are not exploited. And this is what the Hustler Fund and the financial inclusion has demonstrated, because the Shylocks were charging 10% per day. Some fintechs were charging 5-6% per day. But now the government is coming in to make sure that it can demonstrate to the public and the private sector that you don't need to exploit our people. And that can only be done through a delivery mechanism that is affordable, that is accessible, and it has fast turnaround to this bottom.